What's going on?
Welcome to the Zompire Horde podcast. Join us every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, as your hosts, Vlad the Rad and Michelle of the Dead, discuss horror, true crime, and the macabre. Episodes available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us, won't you? Hello, and welcome back to an all-new Zompire Horde podcast. We have a special guest today whose name goes by Mark Torgl. His web browser doesn't support this platform, and so I'm currently emailing him the link. So he will be joining us here shortly.
Okay.
But anyway, how are you doing?
Yay! I'm doing good. I'm going to be doing makeup a little bit later today. Andrew's going to come over, and I'm going to fuck up his face a little bit, and then we're going to go out to Seattle to go see my friend's band play. So, And last night I went to go see the Doobie Brothers, and it was a great show. Freaking Doobie Brothers rocks, dude.
I saw that you posted some pictures. We do have a comment that came in. It seems that
Tennessee in the house.
Yes. Sorry, I needed a little pick me up there.
That's okay.
Yeah. So Mark Torgl's coming on today. Like I said, he's just having a little bit of technical difficulties currently, but he'll be on. Are you familiar with the Toxic Avenger?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. It was a long time ago. So I remember nothing, but I have seen them, and I'm sure if I was like hypnotized or watched it again, I would be like, oh yeah. So I just haven't had time. I feel really bad. I've been so busy.
What about like Troma movies in general? Are you familiar with
Troma? Yeah, I'm all about that cheese.
Yeah.
For real.
Growing up in the 80s, like we were exposed to like the splatter genre, through movies like RoboCop that have like the splatter.
Yeah, and like really mediocre special effects, and it's just a fun fucking time. Sit around, drink beers, eat chips, and fucking watch this with your friends, and good times.
And good times. And I think that, like that growing up in that era certainly gave us an appreciation for, those types of movies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just messaging him again to make sure everything is
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, and then you think about all the other movies that kind of came after, because I think it was like 84, 85, Toxic Avenger came out. And then it was like kind of like a steamroll of those kind of like weird art house, splatter, punk, hardcore, kind of gory, bad special effects because they didn't have a lot of money, but
right, low budget, cool. And but still fun. That's the best part,
And that's kind of like my favorite genre too. That's kind of what led into, because around the same time, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 came out, 86? So right after that, and that kind of still had that like comedic air to it. What's your favorite Troma movie?
Oh God. Don't ask me hard questions this early.
I'm a big fan of Terror Firmer and Tromeo and Juliet.
I haven't seen those.
Oh wow. You're missing out big time.
I know. I'm just gonna have to spend a day, I think.
Yeah. Tromeo and Juliet's obviously Romeo and Juliet, but the Troma version. So I'm sure you can kind of mentally break down what that is.
Yeah.
Totally wrong. Imagine. Not at all what it is. It is a love story like Romeo and Juliet, but it's more like the Troma way.
Right.
It's got to be gory and fucked up and weird, and there's like
that style to it.
A killer penis going around. It's awesome. That reminds me, have you seen that movie? This is off topic, but have you seen that movie Chillerama?
No.
Oh my God, it's so fucking amazing. So it's like multiple short stories or whatever,
right.
That one of my cats is doing weird stuff. It's like 4 short stories in one movie, and one's about like a killer sperm The other one's like about gay werewolves. And so each of them has like their own little, it's fucking hilarious. You got to watch it.
Nice.
It's called Chillerama. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
What I did watch though, is I did take Mick Strawn's recommendation and I watched Dave Made a Maze. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God. It's pretty funny. And then when he was talking about the puppet scene, I'm like, literally, they're trying to get out of this maze that he made out of cardboard. But like once you get inside, it's completely different. And it's totally ridiculous. And anyways, they go through all these chambers and they go through all these obstacles and booby traps and they go through this one they come out as fucking paper bag puppets. And it's just hilarious. Wow. And they're like, oh my God, is this permanent? And then you just keep going, and then they finally come out this other tube, and they're human again. It is freaking hilarious. You should watch it.
I will check that out.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's on Prime and Peacock, or I don't know, something like that. I watched it on Prime.
I have both of those.
Okay,
I'm excited. You may notice that I'm wearing some new glasses today.
Yeah, you look handsome.
You think? Yeah, I was a little, it's whenever you get new glasses, these are kind of a statement piece. They're black and gold, but whenever you get new glasses, it takes a little time to acclimate, to the new look. And with the new Jeffrey Dahmer movie out, I felt like these were very Dahmerish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Josh has that going on too.
Actually, so funny story. I bought these and then I literally messaged Josh when I ordered them, and I'm like, you need to go order a pair. And he has the exact same ones.
I know. It's so funny. You guys are so awesome. I need new glasses. I can't see shit. But because of COVID, my eye doctors, and they open like 2 days a week, and it's like surgery days, so I can't really get out of work. I'm just going to be blind, I guess. Do we have an update?
No, yeah, he's saying that it's the StreamYard doesn't work, and he's asking if I have Zoom, but I don't know how to Zoom to this. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense at all.
Yeah. We may we have to reschedule this, or what are we gonna do here?
Well, let me find out.
Okay. So he can't download the StreamYard then, and.
Yeah, so what it is like, like when I send you that that link, right?
Right.
Your browser has to support that platform or whatever. And I guess what's happening is he's having a problem where whatever search engine he has, whether it's Google or whatever, it's not supporting that link. So, with that said, I just messaged him. I have it open in front of me here, waiting on a reply. So hopefully we get him on today. And if not, yes, we will reschedule it and do it another time. I just hope it doesn't.
But that doesn't. We don't have a shortage of upcoming guests though, too. So, we're not.
I don't know if you're
worried about filling some slots.
Eric Moore, he actually has a channel on YouTube. I think I don't remember the name. I don't want to say the wrong one because there is two Derek's. But he has a show, and he does like unboxings. It's mostly like he does short videos where he goes to Spirit Halloween and goes through the sections and shows you everything they got and explain. He's just like a Halloween horror nerd. But he's a local to us. He's actually just in Portland. He was at Crypticon this year.
I know him. I know him. Doesn't he sell like the patches and stickers and shit? Or no. That's somebody else. Never mind.
He always has on like the button down short sleeve horror shirt.
Yeah, I know who he is. He is. He's really sweet. I like that dude.
Super nice guy. So he might come on. We're trying to book him. This
he'll
Monday,
be fun.
We have Jamie Moore, who is Oklahoma's youngest convicted murderer, I believe.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that's this Monday. So yeah, I mean, we have some guests lined up. I have been messaging some people trying to kick some tires and see who we can get on.
Yeah. We're gonna have Darcy DeMoss in a few weeks.
Yeah,
she was Nikki from Friday the 13th for part 6.
She was in one of my favorite movies, Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
she's fun. I
she was
like
in
her.
Vengeance.
Yes.
Was she in the first
Yes.
Vengeance?
No.
She was in Bloodlines
Yes.
specifically.
She's in Bloodlines, which is Vengeance Part 2. So, ah, we're really not
Hey,
doing anything right now. We're just passing the time. But
yeah,
thanks.
we're supposed to have
Uh,
on a guest by the name of Mark Torgl, but we're having some
yeah.
technical difficulties.
Yeah. And that's
Um,
okay. We are patient
hey,
and understand that stuff happens and
it
it's
happens.
totally okay. So we'll just see what happens here. And in the meantime,
Yeah,
um,
we just keep
we're
her
just kind
going.
of chilling and yeah, so that's the only that Dave Made a Maze is the only new movie I've seen
Mm.
recently. Um,
Now, are you planning on spending your, I believe it's Tuesday evening, watching the new Rob Zombies, The Munsters?
what platforms are gonna be on?
Netflix.
Okay, then probably. I do want to see it and make my own judgment. Everybody's got all these uh pre prejudged notions,
Right.
whether it's gonna
I am
suck or
one
it's
of
gonna
them.
rule, and everybody. Yeah, so I guess it just really depends on
So what
a
if
lot of factors. So
that's what we should do is maybe like when we'll both watch it and then we should do like not a Monday episode, but like maybe like a little quick episode like
like a
this
special, like today.
special, and we talk about the highs and lows, our expectations, what was met, what was, you know what I mean? And like just
Yeah.
kind of dissect it, just kind of like talk about it
Yeah,
because
we could do it
I'm a huge
Wednesday. That mean we would have watched it Tuesday, and then we can come back the next day while it's still fresh.
right. Yeah. After you get off
Yeah.
work on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I feel like you're all, I
Oh,
know you're not on vacation.
actually, this coming Wednesday, I'm off work and I'm out. I'm up north doing makeup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool story. That haunted logging camp scare
Oh,
thing.
yeah. That
Uh,
you guys are doing?
yeah, it's going well. They have so base. I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be a train that goes through a haunted logging yard, and
Nice.
they need a narrator for
Oh,
the train. And in my head, I immediately go to Captain Spaulding's haunted or murder ride, right? Like kind of how
right.
Sid Haig was in that. And I'm like, dude, I could make this super awesome. I already have my Children of the Corn full brim hat. I have
Oh yeah.
my preacher tie, and I could, hello boils and ghouls, that
Yes.
kind of shit.
Yes. Yes.
Off the
Wait.
train while they're go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say logging equals chainsaws, and you like chainsaws.
I do. Hey, I didn't lose my finger from a chainsaw.
You could tell people that though. You could tell people that if you went fishing and this big freaking fish came and bit off your finger, or you could say, "Have you ever seen the movie Teeth?"
Of course.
So you could say there was like some sort of vagina dentata situation at one point. Um,
Like her when her gynecologist got his fingers snipped off.
yeah, exactly like that. Yes, that's what I'm talking
But
about.
how
um,
do you explain it just being one finger? Funny story though. I have that
hello.
scarification. So he
Yeah.
says he's trying to find it. He's trying to find his iPad.
Okay. That's fine.
So
That's fine. I
we're
don't want him
working
to
on it.
stress out. Tell him not to stress
Yeah.
out. It's all good.
Well, I offered the rescheduling of it, and he said he's trying to find the iPad. So
Okay. That's fine. I
we're
have
good for now.
until like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good for now. So
Hey, you'll make all the time you need for Mark Torgl, damn it.
that's fucking true. I will. I will.
But
So what else are you doing
well,
this weekend, Vlad?
well, I'm gonna watch some football tomorrow. Oh,
What
did
is
we get him?
this? What
Did we get him?
is the
Hello.
what? He
There he
made it!
is.
Oh my God.
Woo!
My little
Look
iPad
at
it
you.
worked on, but not my big computer.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
you did great. We were able to entertain two people for a second.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you were able to do that. I should have tried checking on earlier, but I thought
Yeah.
it would be no problem. But
Yeah.
I've never used that venue before.
Ah.
Yeah. Anyway,
StreamYard.
Welcome. I'm glad you
Welcome.
made it.
Can
Yeah,
you
thank
hear
you
me
for coming
okay
on.
and see me okay?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. So people for who should know, you and I know each other. I used to run a mystery box company, and I bought a buttload of autographs from you, and we put those in our mystery boxes.
Oh
This is kind of
yeah, I
how you and I
remember
were
that.
introduced. Which I wanted to thank you again because mine is right
Look at
here.
that. That's
Look
exciting.
at that.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
like one of the like my prize that's on the wall. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He's a huge collector.
I'm
For people
impressed.
who don't know, Mark, you played Melvin the Mop Boy in the Troma, the film that made Troma what it is today, the Toxic
Yes,
Avenger. Tell us a little bit
that's right.
about how you got into making films and being in movies.
Right.
Well, I've always been a lover of films, and I was going to NYU Film School at the time. I got involved with Troma, and they put up a notice on our job board to come and work on a film in the summertime when we were off. And this was the year before Toxic Avenger. It was actually a film called The First Turn On, which I'm also in. And it was another awkward nerd character that I ended up being this part because I was on the crew, and the actor they hired for that role didn't show up. So Lloyd said, "Mark, you do it." And they liked the way I did it so much, they called me the next year when they were making Toxic Avenger and said, "We want someone just like you for the main character that turns into the monster." And I was
Nice.
like, "Great, let's do it." And
Yeah.
and the rest is history. We've had a long relationship, Lloyd and I, with Troma and myself, and we act in each other's films, and we always are at conventions together a lot, and we keep running into each other all the time.
That's really cool.
Actually, I have a good Lloyd story I'd like to tell you really quick. I lost a finger in an industrial accident 2 years ago.
Cool.
And I was going to physical therapy, and my physical therapist, I wear like a vest that has horror patches all over it. And he told me how in Tacoma, Washington, he had hosted some movie premiere thing, or it was something that came out for. And he, said, "Hey, I'll pick you up from the airport. Do you have a friend or something?" And he's like, and Lloyd Kaufman's like, "No, I'll stay with you." And the guy's like, "Okay." I don't even know who you are. Like, what, And so Lloyd ended up going to his house, and then he just had people coming over all the time. And the whole time, like, the guy's like, "Lloyd, why do you stay at this guy's house?" And he's like, No, I'm staying here. It's fine. It's fine." And he ended up hosting Lloyd at his house for a weekend and had no idea who he was.
That's
Yeah, it
so
was
funny.
pretty funny.
That is really funny. It sounds like him, though. I'm surprised he hasn't put you in. I'm surprised he hasn't put you in a movie, because he likes to take amputees, like the guy in Toxic Avenger that gets his arm pulled off.
Yeah.
He actually did not have an arm, and so they put a fake arm on them so that Toxie could pull it off.
Oh, dude,
Oh, wow.
they should get my friend Nick. Nick doesn't have any arms or legs. He's a young man, early 20s. Yeah, he was in Vengeance 1. But yeah, he's really cool. He's local to us.
Where are you guys?
We're in Washington, Seattle
State.
area.
Oh, Washington State.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah.
It's nice up there.
Yeah, it is. One of the things that I always thought was actually pretty interesting and cool about Lloyd Kaufman and how the Toxic Avenger came to be was he was actually working on the movie Rocky when he got the idea for the Toxic Avenger. And a lot of people don't know that, and that when you kind of relate that Rocky story to Toxic Avenger, you can kind of see the overlappingness of it.
Right. Yeah, I think he was in the transportation department or something on Rocky, because that was like one of the first things he ever did before Troma got going.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's very unique movie because it's comedy and horror. And
My
a love
two
story.
favorites.
We love that combo.
Comedy and horror is like my genre.
Yeah.
That's because that's what you're like in real life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, and like what was it, 1984 or 85 that Toxic came out?
I think it was 84, and then it came out in 85.
Okay, because that's really
the
time when horror comedy took its ground.
I'm trying to find my poster. I have a poster somewhere on. Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Nice. Do you remember the original name of the film? Wasn't it like The Monster Person? Or
it was the horror.
The Monster of what?
The movie itself, the original name, is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
The Health Club Horror was
the Health Club Horror. Right.
In fact, Toxie was never even called Toxie.
Yeah, that's right.
In the movie. He was just the what did they call him? The monster something.
Yeah, it was like the monster person or the monster hero. That was.
It was a monster hero, right?
Yeah. New Jersey's first superhero.
Yeah.
When you were filming that, you were pretty much like the body style they needed for that role. Could they not find a stuntman that looked remotely like you when they threw you out the window?
That was a stuntman.
Well, I mean, one that looked more like.
Oh, one that looked more like me.
Yeah.
They had a stunt crew, and he was probably the smallest one in their crew. So
yeah.
I could have done my own stunt, I suppose, but who knows if I'd be talking to you right now.
I was rewatching it recently, and when you're in the 80s, that kind of stuff you probably just blink by your eye. But nowadays, because of 4K and everything, you're like, that's definitely not Mark Torgl.
No, it wasn't. But when I did get into the barrel after the whole stunt and came out of the barrel, and when I started on fire, my hand actually started on fire.
Oh shit!
And I've still got a scar there somewhere.
Oh damn!
But it was like, oh my god, he's really on fire.
The things you do for film.
What was it like? What was it like on the set of a Troma movie in 1984? I mean, the 80s was the decade of decadence. So, I mean, was it just a rager the entire time?
Oh, it was, it was definitely decadent, and everybody was pretty much working for nothing, and it was a lot of kids just having a lot of fun, mostly, getting high and just doing the stuff, and eating their Jarlsberg cheese that they fed us 3 times a day. And
hey, that's what happens on no budget.
Yeah. And if it was an overnight thing, they would find an auditorium, like a high school auditorium or something, and everyone would just camp out on the floor. And but I don't think Troma has changed that much.
Did we lose him?
They always try and keep to that same.
Oh, he may have froze there.
Things.
We'll give him a minute.
No, he didn't freeze.
Did I freeze or?
No, you didn't freeze.
Oh wait.
No, it was you, Vlad.
Sorry.
They still make their films pretty much the same way. I was in Return to Nuke Em High Part 2, which was their latest Nuke Em High one, and I was in New York doing that, and it just was reminiscent of the way they always did things. I was in the Troma building on their cement floor for at least an hour while they were doing the stunt that they had me involved in. I was a janitor, of course, and there was a monster that came and impaled me with a mop. So it was it was Troma as usual. I did a film around the same time. I made one called Toxic Tutu, and Lloyd is in that. So we just, switched off and we're in each other's films. Toxic Tutu was a film that I made that was the almost true story of whatever became of Melvin the Mop Boy from the Toxic Avenger.
Nice.
Which I would like to point out to people is available on Prime Video currently. So if you get a chance, head over to Prime after this and check it out.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I'd like to talk about that movie because that's basically you coming back. What is it? 30 years later at this point, and like picking up what would have happened to Melvin, right?
Right. It was like kind of, it was supposed to be like, where did he go and why did he disappear?
Right.
The fictional thing. Actually, I was working in Hollywood as an editor and making a pretty good living doing that.
Nice.
But because of that film, and when COVID hit and I started growing this beard, and it was a lot crazier at one point, and I have a lot of Facebook fans and that are now filmmakers, and they all they started calling me to be in their movies. And I think I've been in 10 films in the last 2 years, mostly cameos, little things. So it's been a whole resurgence for me.
How fun.
Yeah. In fact, there's a new one that's just coming out called The Once and Future Smash. And it seems like it's really good. It was played at a film festival in London and got really good reviews. So I'm excited about that one.
Fun.
That's awesome. Also, for people who aren't aware, there's a new Toxic Avenger coming out.
Yes, with Peter Dinklage.
I was gonna say, isn't Peter Dinklage playing the Toxic Avenger?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Is it finished?
What's that?
Is it finished?
They've been having screenings. I tried to get in that film, and Lloyd tried to get me in that film too, because they were still kind of producers on it. And the director just wanted it to be totally new and unique. So I think Lloyd is in it, but I don't think anyone else.
Right.
Toxic, the original, is in it.
Because I thought I saw an interview with you where you had mentioned that at one point they maybe had tried to get some of the old cast to kind of make like cameos, but you weren't sure if that was going to happen.
Lloyd was trying to make that happen, and it just never did. So
I'm still really excited to see that. Wasn't there a rumor too that I think Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to or who was going to play the actual guy in the?
Well, it's gone through several variations in different film companies over the last 10 years, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to be in it in one of the original ones, but that one fell through. So I'm not sure. I think Peter Dinklage plays both parts, and I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but it should be interesting.
Angles.
Yeah. A lot of special effects.
And I know also recently you just started getting not recently, I guess it's been a few years now, but you started, out on the convention circuit.
Yes.
How's that been meeting the fans?
That's really fun too. And that again is what kind of brought about my resurgence. And that's when we started filming Toxic Tutu was at the very first convention, the Mad Monster Party. And it's funny that I didn't really realize my fame until I started doing these conventions. And all the fans at these monster conventions know me, whereas if I'm just walking down the street in LA, nobody knows me. But it's fun. I haven't done one. Well, actually, the Scarefest was last year. I did that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the last one I did.
Have you done the Seattle Crypticon?
No. Can you get me in it?
I will talk to some people.
we both work up at Seattle at the Crypticon. They have your. She's the boss lady.
I'm not the boss of Crypticon. I'm just the boss. I'm just the boss of him.
Oh, yeah. I can kind of see that. Yeah.
No, he's yeah. I love you, lad.
I've got
For
one guy that's been kind of representing me, getting me into some of these conventions, but he's kind of a newbie at it. But what I like
Gotcha.
about him is he has all my stuff, like my posters and my banners and my
oh, nice.
pictures.
So you don't have to worry
and-
about keeping track of all of your table gear.
Yeah, I just show up and he sets it all up. So
That's
actually, I'm
awesome.
supposed to talk to him today about he's got something. So yeah, it's fun to do.
And one
Okay.
of the things about Toxic Tutu that
job. What was that?
I was going to say one of the things about Toxic Tutu I really appreciated was you filming at the conventions with the fans and incorporating them into that film.
Yeah, that
Michelle,
was, you know,
Michelle
our
hasn't seen
background.
it though.
That
Yeah.
was a big inspiration for making that film. And I mean, we've got so much footage. I could actually make a real documentary out of that. Just me at
You should.
conventions.
You should.
And I think it would be interesting. So, yeah.
Put a cool soundtrack to it. That'd be super dope.
Yeah.
And so until you started doing the conventions, because like what you were in Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie, right?
Yes.
It was it
I
after
had
that.
already moved out. I had already moved to Los Angeles. And Lloyd actually wanted me to be in Toxic Avenger 2, which they made it into 2 and 3. And I, you know, had moved to Los Angeles. I looked at the script and I didn't think it was very good. And I was trying to get them to, you know, give me a payday for it. And they didn't want to do that. And I had a job in Hollywood. And so I turned it down.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
Lloyd, in his book, Everything I Know About Filmmaking, I Learned from the Toxic Avenger, he said the biggest mistake he ever made was not giving Mark Torgl the $50 he asked for Toxic Avenger.
I love it.
Well, as much work as you volunteered to do on Toxie 1, I mean, I could see where the $50 would have been a steal for you for Toxie 2 and 3, you know?
And then when they asked me to be in 4, I did it for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I had some time and I was like, oh, okay. They flew me out and gave me a hamburger or something.
There you go. Yeah. Feed you, put you up. It's all good.
One of the cool things about you too, Mark, is, you know, you played such a legendary role in such an amazing film, but you're also a horror fan yourself, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, you know, some of my favorite memories are like, you know, Night of the Living Dead and The Exorcist and the whole Nightmare series. So, and I try and keep up on it too, just because the fans at these conventions are totally horror people. And
right.
so the more I know,
Total nerds.
the better it is. So I try and keep up on the horror.
Yeah. Do you have, other than the ones you were actually in, do you have a favorite Troma film?
Oh, besides the one I was in?
Yeah. Have you invested in the other movies they've come out with? I'm a huge fan of Romeo and Juliet and Terra Firma.
Yeah.
But I was just curious if you had one that you really liked.
Those are the big ones. I really liked the original Nuke Em High. And to be truthful, I still need to see a bunch of them. He's got a new one out now called Shakespeare's Shitstorm, which
wasn't Surf Nazis Must Die a Troma?
Yes. It was something they acquired. They didn't make it.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a great title.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Another great title, Poltergeist.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of holiday, or not holiday, well, it's because I guess Thanksgiving's a little different, but anything that has like animals killing humans, I'm pretty much into.
Yeah,
we deserve it.
So we're working on nowadays. What do you got now?
Well, I'm just doing my day job, which is I'm an editor. I'm working on a TV show. But as far as films coming up like this, the Once and Future Smash is the one that's coming out like next month. But nothing new, besides all the ones I made have come out in like the last year. So if you go to my IMDb, I think they're all listed. There's like 10 films that I've been in.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
There was
The Macabre.
something. The Macabre?
Yeah, that just came out. And that was a really good script, which a Facebook fan of mine, said, "Hey, can you read my script? It's called The Macabre, and it's like 3 stories." And I read it, and I really liked it. He was like, "Oh, you want to be in it?" And he lives in Las Vegas, and I went out there to shoot a pretty big scene, few scenes. And that's just come out recently too.
I was going to say too on your IMDb, and I'd love to hear about the work you did on it. It says you were a montage editor for the 67th Primetime Emmy Awards.
Yes, that was for the shows that were going off the air that year that had played for a long time. That was an interesting job. And like I said, the editing pays all the bills, and the horror films, I pretty much do it for fun. Because no one's offered me the big bucks for those yet.
Actually, one of the shows I thought that you worked on, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's like "Smile, You're Arrested" or something like that. And I remember that show, and it was kind of like wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. It was like didn't you get like it was basically people committing crimes that were caught on camera. So like one of those edited, camera edited ones.
Yeah, it was people that were like on the lam, and they were criminals that either took off and jumped bail or whatever, and so they set up a sting to get them. You won Super Bowl tickets. Come and get your Super Bowl tickets, and they'd come and arrest them.
Yep. That's awesome. We do have a question from Cool Kid Collector.
Hey, Darren.
Do you share the same opinion with Lloyd Kaufman about fuck Hollywood and Los Angeles, and they're all assholes? Well, you don't want to say fuck Los Angeles. You live there. So I guess the real question is, do you share that same opinion?
Sometimes I feel that way myself. Lloyd's the renegade, and he's never been accepted by Hollywood, so that's why he has that attitude.
Right
now, of course, I think his new film Shakespeare Shitstorm has actually gotten some decent reviews, which he's never gotten before. So he's
that
like,
name
oh my God,
alone has decent reviews to me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, Lloyd's a real character. I love hanging out with him and doing things with him. We were in a film together called After School Lunch Special, Sloppy Seconds, which was another, nasty, gory horror film. Not Troma, but the filmmaker was fans of Toxic Avenger and Troma, and hired both of us to come to the Midwest. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I believe all of these are available somewhere. It's just you have to hunt them down.
One of my favorite parts about the whole Toxic Avenger, franchise was when they turned what was, probably at the time one of the more splatterpunk horror films there was into a children's show in the early 90s. And I was actually fortunate enough to get an action figure.
Woo-woo! Look at that.
Signed by Lloyd. And although you can't read it, it is the most jumbled shit. It's a Lloyd Kaufman thing. So it's so jumbled, but he signs it Uncle Lloyd twice and called me Victorious Vlad. But talk a little bit. I've read in other interviews where you talk about that cartoon and stuff and how funny it is that it even became a cartoon.
Well, a lot of the people that come to the convention say I learned about Toxic Avenger from the cartoon. I watched the cartoon Toxic Crusaders, and then realized that it was originally a movie, and when that to watch the movie, it was so completely gross and disgusting and something they didn't expect, but they ended up loving it. So
Right.
that's where a lot of the fans came from, the original cartoon, being fans of the cartoon.
That's rad.
Right. Well,
they also had a comic book that had a few issues. And I think the very first issue, they have a caricature of me on it. And I have that somewhere in a file. So
that's awesome.
It's been a long, strange journey.
My first introduction, the benefit of being born in 1977 was I grew up in the 80s when I was a latchkey kid. My mom was the manager at a Pizza Hut for 16 hours a day. So I was left at home with USA Up All Night and what we used to call back then Skinemax. I don't even know if Cinemax is still around, and HBO. Yeah. So we would, on USA Up All Night, Rhonda Shear and Gilbert Gottfried would show you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then, Bee Bitches from Outer Space, or it was always just some random shit. But that's what I grew up on, and that's how I became familiar with the Toxic Avenger. So I got it early on.
Yeah. A lot of the people really did see it when they were very young, and I think it affected their entire lives.
It shaped who you become.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I want to tell you I appreciate you, and I do thank you for coming on and talking with us about such an awesome career in a movie that you guys created really out of nothing. It's really
I'm glad we were finally able to do this, and I couldn't get you on my main computer, but I tried the iPad and it worked.
Hey,
yay!
It worked. We're here. Wait, we actually have another question.
Nice meeting both of you. And
do you have any idea
in Washington? I'll see you in Washington when you get me up.
We're gonna get you in Seattle. Well, you have a great one, Mark. Thanks for coming on. See ya.
It was so nice. What a nice guy! Oh my god.
Dude, so awesome.
Yeah.
I can't believe we finally were able to get him on. That's
I know. Rad. That's awesome. That's awesome. That worked out well.
So you're gonna go film a movie today?
No, I'm just doing makeup. Andrew's coming over, and I'm gonna do his makeup, and then I'm going up to Seattle. So
good times.
Yeah.
Somebody said awesome.
Yes,
awesome
thank
show.
you. Thank you.
Well,
I wish people's names would show up.
I know, it's such a stupid
I know, it feels so impersonal. Facebook user A, B, and C. We don't even know if it's the same person. It could be like 5 different Facebook users or the same person. We don't know.
Oh wait, I'm getting so many.
Oh my god.
Awesome. Thank you.
Alex.
Alex Carlson. Just missed it, but I'll rewatch later. All right.
Yep.
Cool
watch
kid.
it.
That was badass. You're kicking ass, but I'm glad I could. Thank you for catching one.
Oh, thanks, Aaron.
And while we're here, let's point out to everyone, make sure you head over to our good friend, the Cool Kid Collectors podcast called Don't Blame Us Podcast. You can catch them on YouTube, Facebook, I think all your podcasting stuff. So go check those guys out. Him and Audi Marsh put on a good show. All right. Well, Stitzy, I love you.
I love you. I'll see you on Monday.
Jamie Moore, Oklahoma's youngest murderer.
Welcome to the Zompire Horde podcast. Join us every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, as your hosts, Vlad the Rad and Michelle of the Dead, discuss horror, true crime, and the macabre. Episodes available on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Join us, won't you?